Hello and welcome to Endurance Minded. It's the podcast that looks at the psychological and emotional components of endurance sports and how they impact performance. I'm your host, Taylor Thomas, founder and coach at TEC. And in this episode, we're going to talk about being busy. So this is something that so many of us can relate to and with. Busy is a word that everyone uses to describe typically how they move through their days. When you ask someone, how are they? Most often the response that you'll get is busy. It's a word that's become synonymous, certainly with Western culture and how we think we are supposed to move through our days, how we think we're supposed to feel. It dictates how we act, dictates decisions we make around the goals that we set, and ultimately how we accomplish those goals, or often, unfortunately, how we fall short of those goals because we are too busy. So I've been a coach for a long time, and the thing that has come up always consistently when we ask athletes what could potentially get in their way, what have been their challenges in the past, what are the foreseeable issues that may come up that may keep them from reaching their goals or cause issues or limit their ability to reach their full potential. And almost always it is that they are busy. So some form of what it looks and feels like to be busy. It could be with family, it could be with work, it could be with both of those things, but it is some form of busy and or time management, or the inability to fill their time with the things that they want to do and the goals that they want to reach. And so I want to talk today, I want to take this general concept, this very real fact of the fact that everyone is busy, and I want to talk about it through the lens of how we perceive that thing, our perception of being busy, and that it is okay to be busy, but so often it's the mindset around how we describe ourselves, the language that we use that dictates how we actually show up for ourselves and the type of busy that we actually are. And I was speaking with a good friend of mine not too long ago, great friend Shannon Stober, who has been on this podcast before, and as you often do with friends, asked how she was doing, and she said that she is abundant but not busy, and that really struck me. And she said, we went on to talk further about that, and what struck me is that she identified that it was a mindset, that she chooses to not be busy, she chooses to be abundant, and that she has been busy in the past. And when that happened, that actually meant for her that things were out of alignment, that she wasn't filling her time with the things she cared most about, that were most in alignment with her values and her goals. And that when she's abundant, that means certainly that her days are full and that she has plenty on her plate, but she's moving in the direction of things that she cares most about. And she's filling her time with things that are valuable to her and things that are giving back to her. And I want to use that distinction in language to really kind of kick off this discussion. And I think that that's a great place to start from, is that it really is a mindset, right? That it's okay to be busy, but it's how we contextualize that use of our time and how our time is filled. And maybe that if we think differently about how we categorize being busy, and then ultimately think differently about how we fill that time and space and how we use our energy, it actually helps us be busy in a direction that is fruitful and productive and doesn't feel draining, doesn't feel like a limiter, but actually feels like it's refilling our cup, so to speak. So carry that with you through this conversation. And as I highlight areas that we can redefine how we think about being busy, is it are you busy from a place of abundance, or are you just busy for the sake of being busy? And how are you thinking and talking about that time and those actions that you're taking? So before we kick things off, I want to highlight a resource that really ties into what we're going to talk about today. So many people, as we get close to the end of the year, start to think about our goals. We start to think about what we want to accomplish for next year, for the next season. both from an athletic perspective, a personal perspective, as well as business, our careers, our family. It's a natural time and space and opportunity to reset and refocus and think about our goals. But so often I talk to people and they get to the end of the year and they realize that they haven't reached the goals that they've set. They didn't have the time. They didn't feel like they had the tools, the knowledge, the relationships, the pieces and parts in place to reach those goals. And so those goals roll over into the next year, or maybe they get pushed to the side. And we try to come up with goals that are more achievable and that we feel like we can sink our teeth into. But so often we go through this cycle of not quite accomplishing what we want in a given year. And so with that in mind, myself, along with Christine Hernandez, who is our mental performance coach at TEC, also a recurring guest on the podcast, a very well-respected and amazing leadership, as well as mental performance coach. Her and I are hosting a workshop December 28th to help individuals solve this problem. So if you're someone that feels like you are constantly busy but not quite accomplishing anything, or you're not reaching the goals that you set out to reach, or what you are accomplishing isn't in alignment with the things that you care about, if you are telling yourself that you'd love to be living a different kind of life or moving through your days in a way that felt more fulfilling, more impactful, there's things that you want to accomplish that you just can't quite get a handle on, we are leading a workshop called Accelerate Your Impact. It's going to be on December 28th. It's going to be the first of 2 workshops. The next one's going to be later in January. But what our goal is to give people the things that are so often missing, which again is the tools, knowledge, relationships they need to actually understand which direction you need to head. What do you need to be doing now to set goals that are in alignment with the things that you care about, so you can move through your day, move through your life in a direction that helps you feel fulfilled, helps you feel excited, passionate about what you're doing, what you're spending your time doing. And this could be in any realm. So this is for athletes, coaches, leaders, entrepreneurs. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. If you're in this space where you just don't feel connected to what you're doing, or you're not feeling like you're accomplishing what you want in a given year, or you're not sure what type of goals to set for the coming year, this is for you. It's going to be a 90-minute workshop, and you're going to leave with what you need to actually get super clear on how you need to move into this year. So Christine and I both really tired of workshops, leadership development courses that don't give you any sort of actionable takeaways. And we're looking to change that. So we're going to host this workshop because we both care immensely about helping people reach their full potential. So again, that's Accelerate Your Impact. We're going to put the event in the show notes for this episode, and I'd encourage you to sign up, RSVP. We're charging a nominal fee of $27 for this course. You're going to get a chance to interact with both Christine and I as mentors, as well as other leaders, again, coaches, athletes, like-minded folks in this workshop. So it's going to be a really collaborative and vibrant experience. We just want to put this in people's hands so that we can help you and help you go into 2023 feeling like you're ready to kick ass and accomplish what you want to accomplish. So again, we'll put all the details in the show notes, but that's Accelerate Your Impact, December 28th. We're going to host this one at 8 in the morning Mountain Standard Time, make it hopefully easy for most people to make it. Again, click the link in the show notes of this episode. You can also reach out to us directly at enduranceMinded.com if you have any questions. We're happy to provide that information for you. And I encourage you to sign up. Even if you feel like you have this stuff really dialed in, it doesn't hurt to keep sharpening your tools, keep sharpening your skills, continue to gain clarity, communicate with others what you want, communicate that in a way that's effective. So this is something that we really, again, we just want to put it in people's hands because it's something that we care deeply about. So, and you'll see as we move into through this episode that there's going to be a lot of tie-ins here. So if you're feeling like, again, you're busy, you can't quite nail down the direction you want to go, you feel like you're always spinning your wheels, you're always coming up a little bit short, or you're just not having fun, you're not enjoying the process, you're not doing what you love, this is where you need to start. So again, December 28th, check it out. If you have any questions, just reach out to us directly at enduranceMinded.com and we'll hook you up with all the details you need. So I look forward to seeing anyone that wants to come there. It's going to be a tremendous opportunity. All right. So hopefully you guys appreciate having some resources to sink your teeth into. We're going to be doing more of that. Speaking of goals, coming into 2023 with Endurance Minded, really giving you guys, the listeners, things that you can use, things and areas that you can take what we talk about on this podcast and put it into use, into execution and deployment in your own life. So stay tuned. Lots coming this year. We got big plans, and we're super clear on the value that we want to provide for our listeners. So always, thank you so much. Let's dive in. All right. Let's talk about being busy as a mindset. So again, just to reiterate, number one reason from the athlete side of things, but again, this is going to go into to leaders I speak with, business owners, entrepreneurs, other coaches. The thing that always comes up is that people are struggling to accomplish their goals because they are busy. All right, busy's fine. Let's assume that that's not going to go away, right? People like to get a lot done. We like to accomplish a lot in a day, specifically if you are a performance-oriented, goal-oriented individual, like so many of our listeners are. Again, this is your athlete, your business owner, your, staying at home with your family, and you have goals for your family and things you want to get done. So this is across the board. We all have things we want to get done. So let's work to reframe what it looks like to be busy, and maybe more specifically what it sounds like to be busy. So firstly, make sure that you're busy in the direction of your goals. So where I see a lot of people get derailed, or I hear folks when they're struggling, is that you're busy moving in the direction of things that aren't in alignment with what you care about. Now, I realize some of these things are external and they're placed on us, right? We might have roles within our job or our family, our friends, whatever, that we don't have full control over. Some of these things we just have to do, right? And that's totally fine. But there are parts of this that we can control. And the way that I like to do that is to outline 2 to 3 priorities each week. So these are the things that matter most to you each week that you want to accomplish. And then what you can do is you can realign when you have those priorities mapped out. Notice it's not 10 priorities, right? So it's not a to-do list. It's not a task list. It's the things that you care most about and the things that are going to be most in alignment with your core values and your personal mission and vision statement within that given week. And when you feel like you're busy, when you feel like maybe you're overwhelmed, like things aren't moving the direction that you want, come back and say, am I busy in the direction of my goals? Is the things that I'm doing moving me towards the completion of these priorities that I care most about? Whatever that step is. Maybe it's not total completion. Maybe there's an interim step. But are you busy in the direction of these things that you care most about? Because what happens is when we lump everything together, we have a to-do list, we don't have a way to understand what those things really mean to us, right? It becomes a one long task list. And what that does is it distracts us from, again, being busy in the direction of things that we care most about. So I'd encourage you, again, to start with prioritizing how you think about what you have to accomplish in a given week. So at the onset of every week, I outline 2 to 3 priorities that I'm going to be most focused on. Those are the things I care most about. Those are the things that are in alignment with my personal and professional values, the things that mean the most to my family and my friends, whatever it is. and I'm going to move in that direction. When I feel myself getting pulled in too many directions, or if I've said yes to too many things, come back to that. And if the things that are bogging me down aren't moving me in the direction of those priorities, and they need to go, I need to reassess how I'm spending my time. So just understand the difference between tasks and priorities, right? And that alone can help us reframe how we spend our time, right? An opportunity to come back, recenter, and ask ourselves, is this in alignment with the things I care most about? Yes or no? The answer is no. Is there an opportunity to pivot and shift in a direction that moves us towards those priorities? The second thing that we can do to reframe our mindset around being busy is to focus on quality, not quantity. So if you follow me on any of my social media channels, most notably Instagram, for those of you that don't follow me, you can follow me at Taylor J. Thomas on Instagram. I've been talking a lot about this concept of quality over quantity. It's something I've been thinking a lot about, more specifically or in more detail. This idea of mastery, really making sure or finding value in doing a few things really, really well. So we have gotten back lots of time as it relates to technology, right? So technology, our phones, our computers, the way we move through our work day, the way we communicate, pick a thing. We, because of technology, we have become massively more efficient, right? We're able to get so much more done so much more quickly. It takes much less work to accomplish the same task than it did, a decade or more ago. So, with that very real fact that technology has created a level of efficiency that we've never seen before, then why are we not getting more done, right? Why are we all still super busy and running in 30 different directions, never feeling like we're accomplishing what we want to accomplish? If we've gotten this time back because of efficiency, wouldn't it stand to reason that we would have the time to do what we want to do? Well, no, that's not the case. I think the reason is that because we've tried to take that extra time that we get back and we've filled it with more things, right? We said, okay, well, instead of doing these two things today, I have these extra moments because of the efficiency of my workflow and how I can move through the world in a way that doesn't require as much time and thought and energy. Let me fill in some more stuff. Let me try to do more things. Again, this ties into the first point, which is it in alignment with our priorities? Is it in alignment with the things that we care most about? I think there's a real opportunity to come back to seeing mastery as a real value proposition, right? That doing things really well is important. It doesn't matter how much we do. There's something to be said for doing a few things that are very much in alignment with our goals and our passions really, really well. And so maybe don't work to fill your time with more things. Fill it with more quality, right? Spend more time working towards mastery or doing things very, very well. And so I think it's easy to get derailed, right? It's easy to say yes to more things because we value being busy, right? We put busy on a pedestal. It's become popular to be busy. We like to be able to say that we're busy, some of us, and that's all well and good. But have we done our core things? Have we done the things that we care about most as good as we can possibly do them? And this is not just task oriented. So this is not just projects at work. This is relationships, right? This is are we feeding into the things that we care most about as good as we can possibly do it, right? And if the answer is no, if we're not focused in these areas, that feels like we are maximizing our opportunities in that space. Again, just to reiterate, this is not just career or athletic oriented. This is not just, I'm going to show up and really work on dialing in this workout, or I'm going to show up and really work on my communication skills at work and really work on mastery. This is in every area of your life. if you're not giving all that you can give to the things you care most about, don't take on more things, right? This is when we start to feel strung out, haggard, and pulled in multiple different directions because it feels like we're not doing any one thing very well. So pull back. Is there a chance? Again, I realize there's lots of nuance here, and I realize that it's not as straightforward as we move through our days. What I want you to do is I want to encourage you to just look for opportunities, right? Are there places where we can insert some of these skills, some of these mindset tactics to shift small moments that ultimately will add up to a very big picture? One of the great ways that I've heard this described as it relates to quality over quantity, or this idea of mastery, is I was speaking with a good friend of mine, and he was talking about how in Western culture, we think oftentimes about our lives as a blank canvas. So we're born, and it's a blank canvas. And our goal is to add as many colors and as many textures and as many things to this canvas as we move through our lives. And at the end of our lives, whenever that is, hopefully it's long and we've done everything we want to do, if we look at that canvas and it has as many things on it as possible, that's how we kind of quantify that we did enough and it was good and we accomplished all the things we wanted to accomplish, whatever that looks like. It's busy and there's color after color and layer after layer. And then if we shift to an Eastern mindset, there's the idea that we're born and there is a block of jade. And as we move through life, we chisel away at that block. And the goal is actually that at the end, only the most important pieces are left. That we've whittled it down to just the most significant components. Just the things that make that sculpture, that piece of jade, most vibrant, most impactful, and so there's a real juxtaposition here of like adding more, always doing more. How many colors and textures and layers can we get versus can we whittle away? Can we do more with less? Can we chisel some pieces off that might not be necessary, that might not be serving the greater piece of our life, or might not be serving our greater good? And so that really struck me. Again, I've been thinking about this a lot, and it keeps coming up. Maybe it's just this time of year, but the more people I talk to, the more this is coming up. And this really resonated. It's this idea that it doesn't always have to be more, that the answer is not to add more colors, more textures, more layers. The answer might be to pull away, remove some of these colors and layers. Again, more like the block of jade and less like the blank canvas. And so, again, how can we focus on quality? Where can you inject quality, mastery? Is there an opportunity there to really lean in? Instead of adding more, can you do more good work in the direction of your goals, towards things that you really, really care about? The third one, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, but I really want to reiterate it because it certainly ties into this greater point, is that perfection isn't the goal, right? So we get busy, and oftentimes we get busy in the direction of perfection, right? We're trying to make this thing perfect. I realize this is a juxtaposition slightly against my last point as it relates to mastery. Keep in mind that doing quality work doesn't mean that it's perfect work. It means that we're committed to the betterment of ourselves as it relates to that work. Doesn't mean that it's perfect. It means that we're working on it. We're committed to adding as much value to that thing as we can. So perfection isn't the goal, and I see so many people work and continue to fill their time because they're trying to perfect this thing, right? Again, it could be work, it could be family, whatever it is. Could certainly be in the realm of athletics. And what we find is that it's hard to find time for perfection, right? And so we say, well, if I don't have time to do it perfectly, I'm just not going to do it at all. I'm busy. And to do it perfectly, it's going to take more time than I have, so I won't even start. Don't let not having the time to perfect something keep you from starting at all, right? Progress over perfection. Again, we've done a podcast on this exact topic before. And a great a coach and leadership expert, Brett Bartholomew, said it best. He said, done is better than perfect, right? Having it done is often better than it being perfect. So as this relates to workouts, consistency is best, right? If you're watching this video, my hat says it best. Consistency over intensity. But having it done is better than not doing it all, right? So don't let the quest for perfection, which is unobtainable, keep you from starting it all. I think that's a really important one, again, specifically for high achievers, and I'm guilty of this as well. So we can get stuck in this trap of thinking that it needs to be perfect. And that can do two things. One, it can take up an inordinate amount of time, moving us in the direction that is not in alignment with our goals and our values and the things we care most about. Or it can bog us down so much that we never actually start, right? Again, well, that's going to take a lot of work. I'm busy. I don't have that time. I can't possibly do it perfect, so I won't start at all. I won't do it. I won't show up for myself. I won't commit to those goals. I'll set lesser goals, whatever it is. So pull back from the perfection idea. Again, perfection doesn't exist. And often done is better than anything, right? So progress over perfection. Show up, stay consistent. Again, in the direction of the things you care most about. Number 4, are you busy in alignment with your values? So again, coming back to some of our earlier points, but just to expand on this, are you busy in the direction of your goals? More specifically, are you busy in alignment with the things you care most about? If you don't already have this, I would encourage you to develop a list of core values, right? It's usually 3 to 5 things. Personal, if you're in the business space, you've probably already done this. If not, certainly make sure you have personal and business core values. Those should be in alignment if you're in a leadership role within that company. But ask yourself this question, and if the answer is no, then you need to realign. So again, the question is, are you busy in alignment with your core values? Again, these things you care most about in the world, is that what's taking up your time? And if you ask yourself this question, and the things that are filling your time and your day and keeping you running around, not accomplishing what you want to accomplish, if the answer is no, then ask yourself, is there an opportunity for realignment? Again, can I chip some things away? Can I think differently about how I'm organizing my time, or how much time I give to this particular thing that is distracting me and keeping me from reaching my goals? And again, filling my time being busy in alignment with my values. So you see that what you're starting to see, hopefully, is that there's nothing wrong with being busy, right? Busy is great. It can, it makes us productive, makes us feel fulfilled oftentimes. But we have to be busy in the right direction, right? Specifically, we have to be busy in alignment with the things that we care most about. So if you can ask yourself, am I busy in alignment with my core values? Again, this is a good practice just to have. And maybe you do this in conjunction when you set your priorities for the week, right? So here's my priorities, 2 to 3 things. Here's all the other shit that I have to do. Here's my task list. And given all that, and given the other responsibilities I know that I have and things are going to come up and ways I'm going to spend my time, is that macro picture, is that week or month in alignment with my core values? And if not, can I go ahead and get ahead of it? Can I trim some things? Are there things that I'm spending my time doing that aren't serving me well? This is something I try to do weekly, right? Pull back. Can I trim? Can I make space and time so that I can deliver um, maximum value, attention um, in the direction of things that I care most deeply about? So for me, I'll give you an example of what that is. So a few of my core values, a few of the things that I care most about is that I believe very, very strongly in the fact that movement makes us better, right? This is why this podcast exists. It's because I believe that there's an intrinsic value in consistent movement. And when we do that, when we commit to that movement, it shows up in all areas of our lives. It allows us to be fulfilled, be happy, lead a passionate, impactful life. And of course, there is health benefits as well. But it's so much more than that. So I believe movement makes us better. Um, I believe very, very strongly in building impactful relationships with the people around me, coaches and athletes, anybody I talk to. Relationships are something I care deeply about. So I want to spend time doing that. I want to spend time building relationships, right? Supporting people, being supported. Very, very important that I surround myself with people that can lift me up, right? It can't be a one-sided equation. You can't always be in the support role. You have to be supported as well. This is coach-athlete relationship, right? It's reciprocal. It's a relationship that requires buy-in on both sides. So, and I also believe in and am committed to helping people reach their full potential. So there's a few of the things I care deeply about, a few of my core values expanded on. But when I look at my week, when I look at how I spend my time, is it filled with moving towards those three things? Is it filled with movement, right? Personal as well as helping others move, because I believe that movement makes us better. Is it filled with building impactful relationships with athletes, coaches, leaders, entrepreneurs, people that I can learn and grow from, and that people with people that can learn and grow from me? And is it filled with helping people reach their full potential? Right. This is why we're doing Accelerate Your Impact at the end of the month, because I believe in doing work that helps people reach their full potential, and I believe in building relationships. This workshop accomplishes both of those things. So it's work that I believe in. So while it has increased my workload and it has made me more busy, it's busy in the right direction, right? I care about it. That's fine. I don't mind filling my time with things that I care deeply about. And then the last one, just as something to think about, is, are you hiding in the fact that you're busy? So this is one that comes up a lot when we kind of dig under a few layers, is that we realize that we're using being busy as a defense mechanism because we're really scared to commit, or we're scared to fail, or we're scared to vocalize and verbalize our goals, tell other people, because if we fail, then we have to own that. Right? If we don't reach our goals, if we fall short, if we're not able to prioritize our time in a way that's in alignment with the things we care most about, then we have to own that. Right? And so it's easy, sometimes easier, to be busy. It's easier to say, oh, I just don't have the time right now. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the ability to commit to a relationship that supports my goals. This is something as it relates to my strong belief in the coach-athlete relationship, is that people think they're too busy to give into a relationship that supports them. No one's too busy for a supportive relationship, right? No one's too busy to not take advantage of something that can be transformative in your life. I would argue that if that is where you found yourself feeling, then maybe there's an opportunity, again, just take a step back and understand if maybe we're hiding in that, because it's going to push us to commit to that relationship. It's going to push us to move towards those goals. It's going to stretch us and require us to think about how we're moving through our days. Again, it's going to require us to prune and to chop off some of these things that aren't serving us because they're not in alignment with our core values, and we're not busy in the right direction, and we're not prioritizing the things that we care most about. And those are all really scary things. It's fucking hard to make those decisions, right? It's hard to be that critical and it's hard to make those cuts. Again, because we like to be busy, and we want oftentimes to to show up for as many people as we can in as many different ways as we can. And that's totally fine, but we have to show up for ourselves first. And what this really is, this conversation is about, is how we show up for ourselves first, right? It's how we compartmentalize our time. It's how we value our time and our space so we can make sure that we're in alignment so that we can show up for others, right? If I come to somebody else scattered, too busy, distracted, not feeling like I'm showing up in any one place in any particular way, I'm not adding value, I'm not in alignment with the things I care most about, how am I going to be the best version of myself for that person, right? As a coach to an athlete, how can I possibly be in a support role and give back to that relationship if I'm not showing up for myself, if I'm not willing to turn a critical eye towards how I move through my days? And of course, one of those things is consistent movement. So how can I help others realize the value of that if I'm not making time for that myself? And so again, there's a real likelihood, I think, that many of us just can use that, and we might not even realize it. I think it's the default now in our culture is that we just go to being busy, right? Oh, I didn't get that thing done. I'm too busy. Oh, I didn't get up on time. I'm too busy. No, I didn't get that workout in. I didn't get that project finished. No, I didn't make it, to my kids' game or whatever it is because I'm too busy. So I don't even think we think about it a lot of times because it's just kind of ingrained in us. But again, that's why I want to highlight these things, because I think there's an opportunity again to turn that critical eye inward and think about how we can set ourselves up for success. So just to recap, 5 things that you can do or reframe or think differently about as it relates to you being busy, and an opportunity to change your perspective on being busy. The first one is that being busy in the direction of your goals, prioritizing a couple of things, 2 to 3 things a week, and making sure that the steps you're taking, how you're filling your time, generally are moving towards those things you care most about. Again, the difference between priorities and tasks. The tasks are what fills in the gaps. Priorities are the things you care most about and what you should be spending most of your time doing. The second one, focus on quality, not quantity. Again, we're getting time back. We're in an era where we're more efficient than ever. So how do we use that time? Right? Don't fill it necessarily with more stuff, with more items, with more tasks. How can you take that extra time and lean into more priorities? Again, mastery. There's value in working to be really good at something, not just doing more stuff. We get pulled in that direction because we've put doing more on a pedestal. Again, just to use the analogy, think about the block of jade versus the painting, right? How can you whittle away so that you're moving towards the perfect iteration of what you want to be? The third one, perfection isn't the goal, right? Don't let not having the time, the bandwidth, the space, the ability to do it perfectly keep you from starting. There's no such thing as perfection. So progress over perfection always. So if you feel like you're too busy to do it in a way that's in alignment with a perfect ideal of this thing, again, this could be anything in your life. Don't let that stop you. Perfect isn't the goal. Get it done, and get it done consistently. And as you do that thing consistently, you will get better at it. You'll get closer to, again, we'll use mastery over perfection. Fourth one is, are you busy in alignment with your core values? So ask yourself that question. The question is, are you busy in alignment with your core values? If the answer is no, is there an opportunity for realignment? Right? Are there things you can prune? Are there things that maybe you're spending more time chasing perfection or more time filling in the gaps when there's really a chance to pull back, be busy in the direction of the things you care most about? That should be in alignment with those priorities that I spoke about earlier. And the fifth one is, are you hiding from being busy? So is it easier to say that you're being busy or sorry, that you're busy? Is it easier to say that you don't have time, stretched too thin, this isn't a good season? However you want to say that. Is it easier to say that than to um, actually own where you're coming from? Own that you're not stepping up to the plate, that you're not showing up for yourself, that you're devaluing your time, you're devaluing the real need to make time for yourself, again, mentally, physically, um, filling your time with more stuff, more things to do, just makes it easy to push those goals, to push those commitments, to push those impactful relationships, those opportunities further down the road, because we tell ourselves that we don't have time for it. We tell ourselves that we can't get to it right now. So if you're in that boat, I know that there's lots of nuanced possibilities, and everyone's life is different, and certainly these are challenging conversations to have with ourselves. But if you find yourself in that place, just ask yourself, which one is it? Right? Are you hiding behind being busy because that's an easy answer? It's easier to be busy than to own some of these things, or is there an opportunity for an upgrade? As my great friend and mental performance coach Christine Hernandez says, I think there's an opportunity for an upgrade there. All right. Last but not least, just to reiterate, we are going to be offering a resource that is directly applicable to what we talked about today. So, Accelerate Your Impact. This is an online virtual workshop. Anyone can come, December 28th, 8 o'clock in the morning. We're going to be doing a lunch version as well in January. I'll put the links to the workshop. We're charging a nominal fee for anyone that's interested. Again, what I care most about is putting this in people's hands. So if any of these pieces have resonated with you, or you're like, Taylor, what are you talking about? Or I'm not sure I understand that. Or like, Taylor, you're full of shit. Come to this workshop. We're going to expand on what it looks and feels like to set clear goals, to get super clear on your intention, to get super clear on how you want to move through your days and your life, how you want to be impactful. Again, doesn't matter if you're an athlete, a coach, a CEO, a leader, an entrepreneur, whatever. If you're in a place where you're feeling like you're not quite connecting and you want to do things in a way that feels better, where you feel more intentional, where you feel like you have control of your time, where you feel like your output is in alignment with the things you're producing, this is for you. So we created this, again, Christine Hernandez and I, because we care deeply about helping people get the most out of their lives, lead an impactful life, move through your day in a way that gets you excited, gets you fired up. So if you're missing any of these things, if you want more clarity on any of these pieces and parts, again, this is for you. So we'll put all the information in the show notes. All you have to do, we're going to be hosting on Eventbrite as well as Meetup. You can find the information anywhere. Send us a note at enduranceminded.com if you have any questions. But if any of this, again, feels like a conversation that you want to expand on, you want to share thoughts, feelings, struggles, wins, losses with other like-minded people, myself and Christine, as well as a group of participants that'll be there. This is going to be an invaluable experience. It's going to be timed so you can hit the ground running next year. You can crush your goals, get super clear, not waste your time, and again, move in the direction of the things you care about. Be busy in the direction of your core values. I promise this will be a super impactful course. So I hope you guys will take advantage. Again, we want to provide resources to help you actually sink your teeth into these concepts that we're talking about. And as always, enduranceminded.com. Again, let us know if you have any questions about Accelerate Your Impact, or if there's anything else we can help you with, if you have thoughts, things that have worked for you, whatever it is, please, I love hearing from our community. So enduranceminded.com, scroll to the bottom, drop us a note. As always, rate, subscribe, share with a friend. I'll keep asking because it's so important, and I appreciate genuinely everyone's support. So if you haven't done so already, take 2 seconds wherever you're listening to this and rate and subscribe and share this episode with a friend. Do it on your phone, do it on your computer, wherever you're listening to this podcast. Send it off, rate it, subscribe it, share it. And then lastly, as always, my amazing team at Thomas Endurance Coaching. You can check us out at thomasendurancecoaching.com. We're doing some super cool stuff coming into the holidays. Right now, 25% off site-wide through December 1st. Probably the biggest promotion we've ever done. So if you're interested in learning what it's like to be coached or follow an individualized training plan, talk to a coach through a consultation, work with our dietitian, work with our mental performance coach, any of our services, or if you just want to grab a badass t-shirt and a hat, 25% off site-wide. So check it out at thomasendurancecoaching.com. And stay tuned. We're doing lots more cool stuff to get people excited, engaged, and ready for next year. So stay tuned to that. As always, thank you so much. I appreciate everyone. And I'll see you next time on Endurance Minded.